Nonverbal communication. The aim of this presentation is to introduce learners to a nonverbal communication codes, such as the body language, the contact, and other social codes. At the end of this presentation, you will be able to interpret the body language, understand how your body movements and behaviors impact social relationships, predict reaction to some behaviors. Terms and keywords of this presentation are nonverbal communication. It includes gestures, facial expression, body movement, gaze, and dress when they are used as a message between people. Appearance, a nonverbal communication code that includes all aspects of one's appearance, attire, hairstyle, grooming, and accessories that can be used as messages. Kinesics, a nonverbal communication code that refers to the display and interpretation of body movements, such as posture, gait, and gesture, facial expression, head movements, and eye gaze. Vocalics, a nonverbal communication code that refers to all features of the voice other than the words themselves when used for communication. Haptics, a nonverbal communication code that refers to the use of touch as communication and includes numerous forms of touch, their intensity, their location, and the body part performing the touch. Proxemics, a nonverbal communication code that consists of communicative, distancing, and spacing behavior, such as conversational distance, territoriality patterns, and arrangement of furnishing to affect spacing among people. Artifacts, a nonverbal communication code that describes the physical objects that communicate directly, define the communication context, and/or guide social behaviors in some way. Chronemics, a nonverbal communication code that describes the way in which time is organized, used, and perceived as communication. The table of content for this presentation is the following. The importance of nonverbal communication, a definition. The body as a code, appearance. The visual and auditory codes, kinesics, vocalics. The contact codes, haptic, proxemics. Place and time codes, environment and artifacts, chronemics. The importance of nonverbal communication. Nonverbal signals are everywhere in interpersonal exchanges and constitute a large part of the communication system. In order to communicate, people have to learn how to encode and decode nonverbal messages. Expressing and managing emotion is one of the most important functions of nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication also encompasses use of the voice, touch, distancing, time, and physical objects as messages. In this presentation, we will analyze 4 nonverbal codes: the body as a code, appearance and adornment, the visual and auditory codes, kinesis and vocalics, the contact codes, proxemics and haptics, the place and time codes, environment, artifacts, and chronemics. The body as a code. Appearance, a nonverbal communication code that includes all aspects of one's appearance, attire, hairstyle, grooming, and accessories that can be used as messages. Sometimes included here are other features of appearance: physiognomy, body type, height, skin color, complexion, and hair color, from which people also draw inferences. The visual and auditory codes. Kinesis refers to display and interpretation of body movements such as posture, seated, standing, or asymmetrical, gait, slow, loping, stiff, scampering, and gesture, facial expressions, head movements, and eye gaze. Vocalics, also known as paralanguage, It refers to all features of the voice other than the words themselves, when used for communication. Loudness, pitch, tempo, intonation, patterns, poses, non-fluences, and dialect are among the features included in vocalics. Even when we do not understand a language, we can get the speaker's intentions just looking at the vocalics. Take a look at this video and observe the vocalics. The contact codes. Haptics refers to the use of touch as communication and includes numerous forms of touch: pats, caresses, lap, kisses, kicks, their intensity, their location, and the body part performing the touch: hands, lips, head, shoulder, or foot. Proxemics consist of communicative distancing and spacing behavior, such as conversational distance, territoriality patterns, and arrangement of furnishing to affect spacing among people. Image, a representation of personal space limits according to the anthropologist Edward Yoel's interpersonal distances of men, showing distances among personal space, social space, and public space. Place and time codes. Artifacts, the physical objects that communicate directly, define the communication context, and/or guide social behavior in some way. Example: one's choice of a smartphone, automobile, or home design says about one's personality. Chronemics, the ways in which time is organized, used, and perceived as communication. Features such as wait time, lead time, duration of events, promptness, and polychronic, doing many things at one time, or monochromic, doing one thing at a time, orientations, all convey messages. This presentation was about nonverbal communication and the most commonly recognized coding systems in nonverbal communication. Now that you finished watching it, you should be able to interpret the body language, understand how your body movements and behaviors impact social relationships, predict reactions to some behaviors.